Guys, welcome back to Cereal at Midnight. My name is Heath. This is Herbie. I'm going to set Herbie aside for now. We're going to talk about the popcorn bucket situation at the end of this review. I want to give you my thoughts, my out of the theater thoughts on Fantastic Four First Steps. Of course, this is the latest Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, but it doesn't feel like a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. It just feels like a Fantastic Four movie. We'll do non-spoilers at the beginning, and then I will let you know if you don't want to be spoiled when it's time to go. But you have to come back after you see it, because you got to hear the popcorn bucket discussion. Okay, so non-spoilers. I was cautiously optimistic because the marketing of this movie captured everything that I love about the Fantastic Four. It captured the family aspect, the 1960s atomic age science aspect of the Fantastic Four, and that sense, the tone of, it's an intangible thing, but really I guess I would distill it down to wonder and joy and this optimism, really. And I don't trust movie marketing, because the people that make the movie trailers and market the movie are rarely the people that actually make the movie. So I was, I've been burned so many times. So I got my hopes up, and it's all good because I love this movie more than I've loved a Marvel movie in years. I mean, really, I try to think about the last Marvel movie that made me feel this excited. So I loved Into the Spider-Verse. Or was it Across the Spider-Verse? Which are the first Spider-Verse movie. But before that, that's not even a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. This takes me back to Iron Man. It takes me back to Captain America, the first Avenger. Not the Winter Soldier stuff with Bucky and all that business. The first Avenger, when they're establishing a baseline for who Captain America is, unapologetically setting him in the 1940s, and then, where that movie goes. But this is everything I have ever wanted from a Fantastic Four movie. Everything. There's a flashback towards the beginning of the movie that it's not an origin story movie, which I love, because it's our fifth Fantastic Four movie. I'm counting the Roger Corman version from the early 90s. Or was it the mid 90s? It's our fourth studio Fantastic Four movie. We know the origin story of the Fantastic Four. We don't need that again. So I appreciate that we skipped that. But there's this flashback towards the beginning, and it shows, adventures with, I won't name them, but very deep early characters from the Fantastic Four stories. So much so that they are recreating the covers of the comic books. And this is when I started to realize, I was like, oh, this movie has reverence for the Fantastic Four. And I don't want to name the other movies that are that are at the theater right now that, in my opinion, don't have reverence for these characters. There are plenty of Marvel movies that don't have reverence for these characters, but this movie reveres the ground that these characters walk on. More importantly, it reveres Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And at the end of the movie, it says Fantastic Four based on the comics by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And if that isn't the truest statement for what this movie is, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. So this is Earth 828. It's not Earth 626. Earth 626 is the primary Earth in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's the one we spend the time with, but we know it's a multiverse. This is Earth 828. So any criticism that, well, why does it look like the 60s? Because it's Earth 828. Why is their technology, so far back, tube TVs, and, Herbie has, computer tape that makes him run. Well, it's Earth 828. And then we find out where the 828 comes from. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This movie is so reverential to Stan Lee and Jack Kirby that the Earth 828 is itself a tribute to Jack Kirby. I mean, this is what I want as a comic book fan, as a lifelong comic book fan. This delivers everything that I want. The action, like it has that the values, the family values, even when they're fighting. I know they love each other. I know that they're not going to split up and go their separate ways. They're family. They're the first family. They're Marvel's first family. We have the science, we have the adventure, we have the space exploration, bringing back the excitement of like, what if we could go into outer space? When Fantastic Four comic books started to hit the newsstands in the 1960s, first of all, these were the comics that built the Marvel universe, not the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Fantastic Four created Marvel as we know it. It predates Spider-Man. It predates the Avengers. Fantastic Four is like the flagship Marvel book. And it is the thing that creates so much of what we now know as the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this movie, it just brings it first steps. These are the first steps into something new and bold, but so classic. I can't praise it enough. But what I was going to say is the idea of the excitement of going into space, because when those comics hit the newsstands, we hadn't been to space. There have been flights into space. We had not been to the moon. No one had walked on the moon. This makes me feel that again. All of that is so just like that optimistic, that brave new world of tomorrow, that optimistic vision of the future. I love that. So the core, obviously Galactus is a part of the movie because he's all over the trailers. There was the Galactus popcorn bucket. I'm not spoiling anything for anybody. Galactus, done with zero compromises, done exactly like he is in the comics, done exactly like I expect it to be. I thought I might have a problem with the Silver Surfer because when I saw the Silver Surfer was a woman, I was like, no, Norrin Rad is the Silver Surfer. You can't just switch out our Silver Surfers. And then I'm like, oh, no, it's Earth 828. This is Norrin Rad's he's still out there. All these other characters are still out there. We have the Fox Fantastic Four movies in another dimension in this universe. We don't have to, this is not like, well, that doesn't exist anymore. It's still out there. When you have Wolverine and Deadpool hop in the multiverse, like a trip in the light fantastic through the multiverse, all that stuff's still there. And then they just announced recently that there's going to be movies that bring back Professor X, Patrick Stewart. None of that ever goes away. So we have all of this coexisting side by side. So I even really liked the Silver Surfer in this movie. I'm about to move into spoiler territory for you guys. I love the movie. I mean, I have no notes. No, there's nothing I'm like, well, I just wish. No, my wildest dreams have come true with this movie. And I feel like Marvel, if they won't be able to maintain this because they have to bring in all these other characters. Like, well, what if Wolverine was I don't care. I don't care about that. I just wanted a good Fantastic Four movie because they are the Marvel comic book. And I have it. I have it now. I think about how I felt back in the 2000s and the aughts when we had the Fox Fantastic Four movies. Of course, Chris Evans was fun in those, but those movies are such a compromise of what Fantastic Four feels like and the tone of that. And the fact that Galactus in the second movie is a cloud. He's a cloud. Now, this entire movie is like, hey, let's fix that. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, going into spoilers, guys. This movie is essentially adapted from the first, 5 years of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's comic book work from 62, 63, 64, pretty much through their first Galactus, the Fantastic Four's first Galactus confrontation. And all the little Easter eggs, they're not even Easter eggs, but like the Mole Man, like plays a part. They go to Subterranea. Are you like, okay, I guess we could have had Namor. That would have been cool if we could have introduced Namor, but they can do that in a future movie. The idea that, okay, Doom, we got a little Doom tease at the end of the movie, Dr. Doom. Don't screw up Doom. There's all this news that Robert Downey Jr. is going to play Dr. Doom. I think that's a swerve for us because they know what we want. And I also think, okay, like with Thunderbolts, I'm not going to spoil Thunderbolts, but if you've seen Thunderbolts, that whole movie is kind of a swerve. Like, oh, you thought you were buying a ticket to the Thunderbolts. Ha ha! We got you. They do this all the time. So I hope that the casting of Robert Downey Jr. is just like, well, he's a multiverse Doctor Doom or something like that. They did this with Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin back for, was it Iron Man 2 that they did that? Or was it Iron Man 3? I can't remember. One of those Iron Man sequels. And that was a swerve. They've been doing this for a long time. I the Galactus stuff, my goodness. And this is a movie that exists to say, here's the Fantastic Four. They have adventures in space. They came back from space with cosmic powers from the radiation, the cosmic rays gave them powers, and now they go have adventures. But they are the heroes of the Earth because no one else is out there. And I love that. And then when the movie leaves them, they're still the heroes of Earth 828. Oh, 828 being Jack Kirby's birthday. So much reverence. Reverence. So the whole thing is a love letter to the comics. And then they do deviate a little bit from that from time to time, but everything that they do feels so true to the core of those characters. And they're doing little homages to different runs. If you watch the thanks at the end of the movie, they thank so many different writers that worked on Fantastic Four. And you just know, you just feel and know that the love for this concept goes so deep in the formation of this movie, in this film. Some of these movies, most of these movies, Thunderbolts felt like this to me. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness felt like this. So many of these movies feel like, how can we get as many characters as possible and put them in this thing and let them fight each other and whatever. And then we can put them on, the movies have become vehicles for merchandise. And I didn't get that feeling from the movie Fantastic Four. I certainly did from the popcorn buckets. But there's you got the core four, you got Franklin, and you've got the Silver Surfer and Galactus, right? Outside of that, a couple of villains, but they're not throwing in Black Panther or maybe it's a good thing they didn't do Namor. Got lots of time for Namor down the road. I'm so excited about this movie. I gotta go back and see it again because this is everything that I want. The post credits sequence. So there's the mid credit sequence. Okay, the post credits sequence is basically an homage to the old cartoon, and it's like a full opening credits thing for the opening cartoon that doesn't exist. It's a different version. By the way, that's where Herbie comes from. There was an animated series for the Fantastic Four, and they create Herbie to take the place of the Human Torch. He's a robot, and there's now a generation that hates Herbie like my generation hates Jar Jar. Because they're like, you screwed up this thing that I love so much and made it comedy and cartoony and campy. But now, in this world, we have Johnny, we have everything, and we also have Herbie. And Herbie is an awesome little 60s robot. And so, like, oh man, I'm down with the whole cartoon thing. No notes. You know what? My one note. Here's my one note. In the comics, when there are moments of great change in the Marvel Universe, when something very important is about to happen in the Marvel Universe, a Watcher will appear. Owatu, the Watcher, will appear and observe. Now, Owatu is the Watcher of Earth 626, is he not? Some of you guys are like, what in the world is he talking about? Read the comics, my people. It's amazing. And these movies, as good as they are, the comics are so much better. The Watcher will appear and they don't interfere. They will appear and they don't interfere. They just observe. And it would have been so cool to see a Watcher appear with the coming of Galactus because something monumental is about to go down. But I guess they haven't planted the seeds for that. I don't know. There's Marvel movies I haven't even seen. Maybe there's a Watcher in the Eternals movie. I didn't watch the Eternals movie. I guess I kind of should, because that gets into the whole Celestials thing, right? That's my only note. It's like, well, you could have had a Watcher, and that would have been fun. Could have done Namor too, because Namor loves Sue Storm. But that's not really the movie they're telling, and I'm okay with that. The story that they're telling, this is an entire movie that exists to show, hey, we know we can do the Fantastic Four right. You want Galactus, you got it. You want space travel, you got it. You want Reed being hyper intelligent, heroic, but also a little pathological, a little psychopathic, sociopathic, because he's so smart that he's no empathy. He's always looking at the most logical solution. He's like a Vulcan that way. That's in this movie. That he loves his family, but he's also struggling with this coldness of practical science. It's here. It's all here. But yet they love each other. Even when they disagree, it's clear they love each other. They don't spend half the movie fighting. Like other movies do right now. we got to talk about the popcorn bucket situation because this is a big deal. I wanted the Galactus popcorn bucket. I think the rest of America wanted the Galactus popcorn bucket. I wanted Herbie too because I like Herbie. Herbie's my dude. Herbie's my homeboy. But Galactus, come on. It's like a 17-inch tall thing. And so I'm recording this video on opening day, not preview day, opening day. I was at the first IMAX show on opening day, and I go in with my wife and I say, hey, you got the Galactus popcorn bucket? And the guy goes, very defensively, he goes, we got a limited quantity of those and they're gone. And I said, but I'm here before the first show. And he's like, I'm sorry, sir. And I'm like, oh, he's been chewed out about this already. I don't know by who, hopefully by his manager. So I'm like, okay, but hold on a second. So to get in the door, you have to have a ticket for a movie because you can't just walk in. Where did they go? And he was like, as soon as the doors opened today, they went. We had a very limited quantity and they sold as soon as the doors opened. And I said, so the doors opened and you sold them to people that weren't coming to see Fantastic Four? And he was like, I'm sorry, sir. So that's exactly, they sold them to scalpers is what happened. People went into the theater, somehow didn't have to show a ticket to get into the theater, I guess, and just bought up all the Galactus popcorn buckets. It's a problem. That's a huge problem because I guarantee, I'm there, first show, opening day, and they're already gone. I'm like, did they ever make it out to the public, or were they bought by employees to sell on eBay? One never knows. I'm actually considering talking to the manager about it just because it bothers me so much. I'm like, this was for your not your employees. This is for your customers. And I'm here. I'm first. And it's not here. So what's the deal? I called around to a couple of other theaters in the area. They don't have them either. I am happy I got Herbie. This is it's pretty great. If you don't like Herbie, there's nothing for you here. But one button here projects. Oh, look at that. It projects the Fantastic Four symbol with, like, this says Reed, Ben, Sue, and Johnny, or maybe it's their last names. And then the other button, which I'm not going to push, plays the theme from the movie Fantastic Four, like a 30-second version of that music, which is awesome. His head comes off, and you put your drink in here. This is your snack compartment. And then the where is it? The popcorn. Yeah, here's the popcorn compartment. I put the bag in here. The bag has the Fantastic Four logo on and the AMC branding, so I put all that in here. But this is, I'm not selling this on eBay. This is for me. It's articulated. His arms, his fingers. He's got, like, I mean, this is wonderful. This is so cool, and just the detail on this. This is so retro futurist, and that's one of the things I love about the movie. So retro futurist, such an achievement in that. But man, I wanted Galactus so bad. I'm so sad I didn't score the Galactus popcorn bucket. If AMC knows what's good for them, they will make more of those and continue to release them to the theaters because it is a license to print money. I don't know what the deal is with this limited release bullcrap. We only got a few. You should have dozens and dozens of those, probably hundreds of those in every single theater because you're just printing money. But that's not scarcity, is it? If you go see this movie and you want to find out more about the Fantastic Four, maybe don't go watch those Fox movies again or the Fan Four Stick movie with Michael B. Jordan. I would recommend going to the comics. Read some comics, man, because that is where all of this comes from. Everything in this movie, I think every single thing in this movie is directly sourced from the comics, and almost all of it is sourced from Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's. They did like, was it 100 issues? I think they did 100 issues of the Fantastic Four. I know Stan Lee wrote 100 issues because that was the thing. It's like that was the flagship of the Marvel universe, the Marvel comic book universe. That's where Galactus comes from. That's where Namor comes from. That's where all of this stuff. The Inhumans comes from from Fantastic Four. Go read the legendary run by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. I would also recommend John Byrne's stuff from the 1980s. John Byrne wrote a definitive history, or a reboot of Superman that has yet to be touched, in my opinion, coming out of Crisis on Infinite Earths over at DC in the 1980s. John Byrne takes over the Superman family of titles and makes it everything that I love about Superman. I would also recommend Jonathan Hickman's run on Fantastic Four, which went for years. Everything that Jonathan Hickman does with comics eventually gets so dense that it almost collapses under its own weight, because I mean, he is a really intricately detailed storyteller. But I'll tell you this, if you've seen the Rick and Morty episode where there's the Council of Ricks, there's the infinite Ricks from all over the multiverse, that's just directly lifted from the Fantastic Four, where there was a Council of Reeds, of Reed Richards. It's the same thing, that they just copied it directly from Jonathan Hickman's run of the Fantastic Four, and that's incredible. Fantastic Four, and it's got Doctor Doom in it, and it's got Johnny Storm, and it's got Sacrifice, and it's got I mean, it really is like blowing it up and then putting it back together. I don't always love that. Sometimes I'm like, let's just play with the toys, we don't have to deconstruct everything. But what Hickman did was, it's definitive. I mean, it's a really important run. Comics, man. And Fantastic Four First Steps really taps into the thing that I love about comics. It will diminish with sequels and with everything. They will Marvel Cinematic Universe it to the point that I'm less interested in it. But right now, this movie, I have the Fantastic Four movie that I have always wanted. I have Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds, realized in 3D. Mike, see this movie in 3D. When Galactus looks at you in 3D, he can see into your soul. Guys, thank you. I appreciate you. Take care. Till next time. Oh, continue the conversation in the comments below. Don't spoil it for anybody, but did you see the movie? Of course you did. Everybody sees this movie. What did you think about it? Cool? Not cool? You got notes? That's okay. Let them know. Let everybody know in the comments below. Thank you. Appreciate you. Take care. Till next time. I will catch you later.